Greetings, everybody, and welcome to your 2022 State of the Cities. My name is Susan Arlen. I am the Executive Director of the Greater Farmington Area Chamber of Commerce, and I am here with my partner in crime, our membership coordinator, Celeste Goings, who's in the back. We'll give a wave. I'm supposed to start by giving thanks to all our sponsors, but I'm going to preempt that one because I am so excited to be here. How about you? Yeah? We are here in person, face to face, sharing a breakfast with all of our best friends. How amazing is that? I will tell you that the sense of energy that I feel when I'm out meeting the different business owners and our residents and our city government officials is unbelievable. And I feel that here today. The energy in this room is just palpable. It's like you can feel the pulse in the bottom of your feet. And that's so exciting because to me, that's part of our vision moving forward. That's what this year's going to be about. Because we get to be face to face in person, the chamber, i.e. Celeste and I, thought it would be appropriate to give you a little gift of gratitude, being as we're face to face. So at your place, you will find a pretty little green box. Those are breath mints. So enjoy them on us, and if nothing else, your neighbors will enjoy them. So with that, we'll get started. So it is my honor and privilege and pleasure to thank our sponsors today. Please welcome our premier sponsor, Beaumont Hospital. Give a wave. And our contributing sponsors, LOC Federal Credit Union, Schoolcraft College, and Wright Beamer Attorneys. I'd also like to recognize the members of our city governments who are here. So the city of Farmington Hills, Shia waves, lots of residents, lots of members there. City of Farmington, our public school system, Farmington Public Schools, and Oakland Community College as well, all of whom will be presenting today. Thank you all for being here. And lastly, I'd like to recognize our board of directors, whose guidance and support has been immeasurable to me since starting this position just 3 months ago. So if you would please hold your applause, and the members of our board, if you would please stand up as I announce your name and remain standing. So our president of the board, Gino Grabinski, Print House, Robert Spann from Oakland Community College, Bethany Parrish from Beaumont Hospitals, Ken Massey, former mayor of the city of Farmington and current sitting council member, Dragan Tosic from Z Painting, hard to miss Dragan, right? Give a wave. Dr. Christopher Delgado, Farmington Public Schools, Priya Playall from Ignition Point Workshops, Annette Campo, our past president, from Annette Campo Realty, Keller Williams, Vicki Barnett, Mayor of the City of Farmington Hills, and Joe LaRussa, Mayor Pro Tem of the City of Farmington. Now your exuberant applause would be appreciated. Again, thank you all for being here on this very exciting day. I started in this position on November 30th. I have been a Farmington or Farmington Hills resident for the last 22 years, 20 years in Farmington Hills and 2 years in downtown Farmington. I have raised 3 absolutely perfect children that all came up through Farmington Public Schools, 2 of whom graduated from Farmington High School and 1 from Mercy. So I've been involved with the school system all throughout their lives. I was involved in the PTA and chuckled with Chris Delgado when I got to tell him that I was scolded for leading too exuberant of a PTA fundraiser with the kids. So I've learned that I need to keep my tone down and not generate too much excitement. But I also am the organizer and co-founder of the FBC Run Club. So if you are ever in downtown Farmington on a Tuesday night and you see between 30 and 100 runners running the streets of Farmington, that's my fault. So, thank you. The most impressive thing that I've learned from FBC Run Club is that growth was organic. The concept of community, the ability to share likes and interests and join together pursuing something that was enjoyable made that community grow. And that's a model that I want to continue to use towards the chamber as well. We're all about being able to bridge those connections, build relationships, and be able to drive the success of our cities through those techniques. Likewise, I am also the chairperson of the Pathways Committee in the city of Farmington, where we are tasked with finding better, faster, safer ways to get around the city for pedestrians, bikes, and ADA accessible routes. I've had a lot of fun, interactive conversations with both Farmington Hills and Farmington, and navigated a couple of crazy trails, right, Maria Taylor? Where we had to hop over creeks to explore different ways that we can get around and build our infrastructure from that direction. So very exciting ways to come into the position at the chamber. So when that position arose, I was very eager to jump into it and to start being able to influence our communities even more. Our chamber model is very simple. It's basically a triangle, strongest structure known, right? That is all about businesses, which is the way that most people think about the Chamber of Commerce. They all think about what it can do for the businesses, but it's far more reaching than that. It's not only the businesses in the chamber and those that are not, but it's also connecting with our city governments, our EDC, our DDAs, as well as our communities at large. And the way that we do this, the way we build these relationships, are all through our ability to do networking, i.e. an event like today, Bridges Networking. We have multiple networking opportunities to make sure that people are getting the face-to-face now, not Zoom face-to-face, interaction that can build the relationships to build success. We do that by hosting events. This is one example. You'll find on your table that you have a flyer for our Bunkers and Bogies. That is our next signature event on June 13th. Sign up, please. Sponsor us, please. But that's another absolutely huge event where we get to go out and play for a day. And then we do it through our marketing and promotion efforts as well. So all of these together build relationships, and relationships are the foundation to success in any community. I don't care what part of it you are. Your relationships are the things that will drive your happiness and your success. So building those relationships are foundational to everything that the chamber does. We are here to serve. We are here to provide those opportunities to build the relationships. And we know that people want to do business with people that they know and like. They want to do business with people who are like them. So being able to be present in these relationships requires that you have outstanding communication. So many of you have seen that I have infiltrated many meetings and invited myself to attend because that communication is critical. Likewise, the ability to have transparency and to operate from a servant leader position builds relationships that then generate the trust that are going to create a much stronger community where businesses want to be part of our community, where they want to locate in our community, where people want to work in our community, and they want to live in our community. So that's the chamber in a nutshell. I told you about our signature event. So literally, that's all she wrote. I'm done. So at this point in time, I would like to welcome our premier sponsor, Beaumont, with Dirk Pronger, who is the CEO. And Dirk, for the past 24 years, Dirk has worked to improve the lives of and in the communities he has served in both Southeast and Northern Michigan. Dirk currently is the Chief Operating Officer for Beaumont Hospital in Farmington Hills, a 330-bed level 2 trauma center. His previous roles include Chief Operating Officer and Interim President and Chief Executive Officer for Munson Medical Center in Traverse City, Michigan, and Vice President, Surgical and Ancillary Services with Beaumont Health in Troy, Michigan. He holds an MS in Health Services Administration from the University of Detroit Mercy and a BS in Accounting from Purdue University. Dirk is board certified in healthcare management as a fellow in the American College of Healthcare Executives. He has served as ACHE Regent for Michigan and Northeast Ohio, chapter president for the Great Lakes region, and a member of the college's faculty. He is a certified Six Sigma Black Belt from the American Society for Quality. Dirk is also a member of the Exemplar Club of Farmington and Farmington Hills. In 2020, Dirk was the recipient of the Detroit Mercy Alumni Achievement Award. Dirk lives in Northville, Michigan with his wife Shannon and their Bernese Mountain Dog, Clover. With great pleasure, please join me in welcoming from our premier sponsor, Beaumont, Dirk Pronger.
Thank you, everyone. So proud to be a premier sponsor for today's event. First off, let's talk about Beaumont and its role in Farmington and Farmington Hills. We are an economic engine. We help create the vibrancy that we see in Farmington Hills. Not only are we the largest employer, if you look at the revenue that we generate and you look at the annual salaries, you can do the math with how many FTEs we have. We provide high-level skilled jobs, and we are a growth engine for positions and for new grads coming to our area. As you can see, over 900 employees are from the Farmington and Farmington Hills area. We're also a teaching hospital as well, too. And being a teaching hospital, we grow doctors. And so we grow doctors, and we hope to place them both in our area, Farmington, Farmington Hills, and then the surrounding Southeast Michigan area as well. You're probably wondering what this stands for. This is our new temporary name for Beaumont. As you've read in the newspaper, we have come together with Spectrum Health in Grand Rapids. And so this name is temporary because it's not a very catchy name. And some people can come up with other names that are even funnier than this one if you take the B and the S and so forth and try to come up with it. But this is our temporary name. And so who are we? We're now a part of 4 different divisions of a much larger system. So when you look at this, you have the Beaumont Health, which is in Southeast Michigan. You have Spectrum Health Lakeland, that's in Southwest Michigan. There's a whole healthcare system there in the Southwest Michigan area. And then you have Spectrum Health in West Michigan. That covers everywhere from Grand Rapids all the way up north to Ludington, Big Rapids, and so forth. And then you have Priority Health. So when you look at us now, not only are we a statewide system, we also are in the insurance business too, and taking on risk, which is very important because now we can have greater control over the care we provide to our patients. And so when you look at what we're doing right now, we're in the forming stages here of coming together, but we will be able to provide a lot more as it relates to coverage. Speaking of coverage, here are some numbers. This is who we are now. So when you look at, I'm going to have to come over here just to look at the numbers here. You can see that over 64,000 employees, 22 hospitals. You can see that we have 1.2 million in Priority Health right now, and that's going to continue to grow. And you can see the other numbers here. We are a large system, but with that, we hope that we can achieve great success by being larger and able to do more things than we could have done had we just stayed alone here in Southeast Michigan. So our focus, we're both looking at healthcare and coverage, and we're looking at access. Our goal is to provide greater access, make it affordable, and working on making it more affordable for the folks in the state of Michigan. And equity is going to be something that you'll hear a lot more coming out of both Beaumont and Spectrum in our relationship, making healthcare much more equitable. And then again, continuing our exceptional care. If you look at the U.S. News and World Report and you put Beaumont hospitals and Spectrum hospitals, we pretty much have the top 5 categories, with the exception of just one hospital in Ann Arbor that is in the top 5 as well too. But the rest are all Beaumont and Spectrum. What would a talk be without talking about COVID-19? So I just wanted to give you a review. We call this 4 waves that we have gone through. So when you see the first bump up in the numbers here, that was the first wave that everyone experienced. It really caught us by surprise. That wave was something that we've never experienced in our lifetimes. And it turned our hospitals into much more of a MASH type unit with ambulances coming in at a rate that was just unbelievable. But our people stepped up. So those are the numbers for Beaumont Health. I just wanted to show you, these are the numbers and the waves that we experienced at Farmington Hills. When you watch the national news and you see the hospitals there and you were seeing the crisis that was going on in all the hospitals across the country, just know that Beaumont was one of the hardest hit with COVID across the country, especially in the first and second wave. Farmington Hills was one of the most impacted hospitals out of Beaumont Health. So when you think about what we have gone through, you think about your neighbors, because your neighbors probably, you may have a neighbor that works at Beaumont. You may have a friend who works at Beaumont Farmington Hills. Please thank them. What they have gone through, these 4 waves, is unbelievable. They are true heroes for the work that they have done. We have saved lives that if it weren't for them stepping up, our doctors and our nurses and other clinicians, we would not have been as successful as we were. So a great deal of gratitude goes out to them. We are not Beaumont Health without the folks who take care of our patients and those that are most closest to them. Next, just want to talk about a new outpatient campus that is going on. So when we talk about the Beaumont Spectrum Health, I want to let you know that we will continue to invest in Farmington Hills and continue to renovate and build our complex in Farmington Hills as well as in other ambulatory facilities as well. But our new outpatient campus will be opening up at the end of April. It will be in Livonia, just a 7 mile and 275. You probably have seen the construction on the northwest corner there. It will be an outpatient facility. There will be ambulatory surgery and some outpatient services there as well. It will allow our folks, especially in the southern areas of our market area, to have easy access to outpatient services, all with the same high quality Beaumont that you expect at any one of our facilities. And this is our mission, compassionate, extraordinary care every day. And this is how we're going to continue. So we have expanded. You have seen our bed towers. It's unfortunate. I arrived here last year and I didn't know this, but building onto a hospital and that expansion is a great achievement. And as soon as we opened up our facilities, COVID occurred. We never even had a ribbon cutting. But thank God we had those facilities up and running, because if we didn't, we would not have had the capacity to care for our patients. So our emergency center it's been functioning now for over 2 years, and it's working well. We're a level 2 trauma center, which is very important to our area. We've updated our operating room surgical suites. We're working on creating more private rooms, not only at Farmington Hills, but throughout Beaumont Health. We're currently redesigning our family birth. I hope next year we can tell you more about it, but our family birth center will be going through a total renovation and a totally different new experience that we will have. We're currently in the design phase. We hope to start construction at the end of this year, going into next year. And then we're going to continue to focus on patient, really having that family-centered care, getting that family involvement in how we provide care. So thank you. Thank you, Farmington Greater Chamber, for your support, Mayors Barnett and Bowman for really supporting us throughout everything that we've gone through. It really takes a team, and we couldn't thank you enough for all your support. Thank you.
Thanks, Dirk. Good morning, live and in person. How's everybody doing? You awake yet? How much coffee have we had? I was trying to figure out an icebreaker I could do up here, but I was so grateful that Dirk went first because that unfortunate acronym kind of took care of that for me, so I was really pleased by that. All kidding aside, thanks for all you guys are doing at Beaumont for the community, Dirk. Thank you for that. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Joe LaRussa, and I'm the Mayor Pro Tem in the city of Farmington. For those of you who do know me, you know what's coming next. So if you want to participate in this exercise, you just need to wave or shout or smile or do something. And for those of you that don't, you could look like an NFL coach and kind of put the program over your face or hold your napkin up, but we're going to take a selfie. All right, on three. 1, 2, 3. Wave, do something. All right, good job. Good job, everybody. All right, class dismissed. No, I have the privilege this morning to introduce the mayor of Farmington, Sarah Bowman. Born and raised in Farmington Hills, Sarah is a product of Farmington Public Schools. Following 4 years of study in Manhattan, earning her degree from New York University, Sarah returned to Michigan, settling in the city of Farmington. While living in the Village Mall apartments, she met John. They married and purchased their first home in Farmington in 1999. She and John have a 19-year-old son, Nate, who is currently serving in Special Operations Unit of the United States Navy. Sarah has a long, yes, thank you for, yep. Navy mom, Navy dad. Sarah has a long history of volunteering in Farmington and sat on the Planning Commission from 2008 to 2015 before being elected to the City Council. She's presently serving in her second 2-year term as mayor. Sarah's non-political interests include distance running, CrossFit, motorcycle riding, and picked up golf with John during the pandemic. When not participating in these activities, you can most often find her at one of the downtown syndicate establishments attending one of the many activities offered by the city of Farmington. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my high honor and distinct privilege to introduce the mayor of Farmington, the Honorable Sarah Bowman.
Good morning, a live audience. Let me open with, once a hawk, always a hawk? The last meal I had in this room was Salisbury steak. It was in a tin. Welcome to the cafeteria of Harrison High School. Before I get started, I do also want to welcome and thank my parents for being here this morning, my biggest supporters. I would not be able to read what's in front of me if it weren't for my speechwriter, my father, so thank you, Charlie Paul. As well as my husband, who puts up with all of my shenanigans. Thank you, John. With that, I want to welcome each of you, whether you're present with me today or watching this later online, to what I believe will be a very optimistic picture of the state of the city of Farmington in 2022. Much like my address to you last year, I am here today knowing that all of us have been touched by the most catastrophic health pandemic in over a century. Every one of us, parents, school children, adults and seniors, business owners, city employees, and more, have experienced challenges unimaginable just a few years ago. However, I would like to say on that basis, it's my pleasure to tell you that the state of the city of Farmington is good, very good. During this presentation, I will be sharing a variety of facts and figures that underscore my confidence. I think you'll come to agree with this optimism. However, before I begin, it is also important to acknowledge all the people who have worked incredibly hard this past year to get us to this point. This includes our professional staffs and all the people who work for and with us. You must believe me when I tell you that the residents and our city's business owners would be in far worse shape without the efforts of these dedicated individuals. We owe a debt of gratitude to them all. Thanks go to the members of our city council. It is a tribute to the nonpartisan makeup that the 5 of us lets the council function in the best interests of our residents and business owners. The many hours on Zoom and in-person meetings helped us navigate through paths none of us had ever experienced before, and I'm proud that all of our members of council are here with us today. Good morning, council. Special thanks goes to the extensive list of volunteers who put their professional expertise and passions to work in the various commissions and boards and authorities that keep Farmington functioning. I also want to acknowledge the enormous efforts made by the people who work so very hard to maintain the icons that make Farmington the exceptional community that we are. Now let's begin with some hard facts and figures that prove just how well our city has performed this past year. City Treasurer Finance Director Chris Weber reports the most important evidence that 2021 saw an increase in 6% in the value of our residential properties and an increase of 7% in the value of all of our commercial properties. So yes, the city is in good shape. He also reported an exceptionally solid picture of the health of our community, starting with an 11.8% growth in population since 2010. While many communities are declining, Farmington is growing. Among the interesting statistics in the recent census data is that nearly 19% of our residents are younger than 18 years old. That has a major rejuvenating effect everywhere you look. Here are some more hard facts and figures. Throughout this presentation today, you'll hear several references to various funding sources that Farmington received in 2021. Here's what our city was able to capture. Nearly $200,000 for Michigan for disaster assistance related to the July 7th storm. About $1.5 million in federal assistance related to COVID pandemic, plus $1 million in grant funding, as well as close to $300,000 in county funding for the Farmington Road streetscape. More evidence of the health of Farmington is our public safety department, which combines police and firefighting professionals. On January 1st, Ted Worthman was appointed Public Safety Director following the planned retirement of Frank Demers after 25 years of dedicated service. Farmington recorded a historically low rate in the most serious crime categories in 2021. I see this as a tribute to the leadership and training of our Public Safety Department. To these brave men and women, I want to give special recognition and thanks on behalf of our community. It's no secret that police departments across the country have come under enormous pressure during the past few years. We should take great pride in the professionalism our City of Farmington officers exhibit each and every day to work to keep us all safe. As further proof of the capabilities of this department, they were one of the first 10 departments in the state to receive re-accreditation by the Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police. During 2021, the department completed its fire turnout gear replacement program conducted over a 3-year period, and they received federal grant in the amount of $140,000 for the purchase of the new self-contained breathing apparatus. The new SEBAs are expected to go into service very soon. In 2021, Public Safety Department employees completed a long list of training covering a range of professional community behaviors and equipment operations. On the first Saturday of every month during the Farmers Public Market, public safety officers reached out to our residents, displaying equipment and, more importantly, meeting with our shoppers. The department also initiated what's called Operation Red Tape. All patrol cars are now equipped with a roll of special red tape. When a vehicle is pulled over for a broken tail lamp, officers have the option of helping drivers with the broken lens with the tape rather than issuing a ticket. As I mentioned earlier, Director Frank Demers retired on January 1st after 25 years of service to the city. Sergeant Reggie Madline also retired last year after 19 years in the department. Public Safety Officer Aaron Molesky retired after 25 years, and I congratulate each of these gentlemen for their contributions in making Farmington what it is today. Numerous promotions were also made last year, including the elevation of Ted Worthman to Director, and 3 new public safety officers also joined the department in 2021. Much like last year, the COVID pandemic created an unprecedented series of challenges for Economic and Community Development Director Kevin Christensen. Much like he did then, his office was able to overcome many of these challenges that positively affected our businesses and residents. When I said earlier that the state of the city is good, that's not just my opinion. Perhaps one of the most important acknowledgments came from the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, which recognized the city of Farmington after a years-long process as a certified redevelopment-ready community. Let me quote from their letter where it says that your city is proactively planning, zoning, and marketing itself to achieve the community's development vision. It goes on to say that certification signals to developers that Farmington is open for business with a streamlined and organized development review process in place, and that the city is the type of attractive place where talent will want to live and work and businesses will want to invest and grow. There's little doubt that you've seen the construction work that continues at the GLP Financial Building. The company is completely renovating the interior and exterior to bring the old Farmington Savings Bank back to its original glory. This is a $6 million project that will enhance the heart of our downtown business district. Major improvements to the sidewalks on Grand River and Farmington roads will greatly update pedestrian traffic flow around the building. GLP is planning on bringing in approximately 50 employees to the new office, which is great news for our downtown businesses. It should not go unmentioned that this neighbor has already sponsored many downtown Farmington events. We'll be seeing many other improvements at many downtown businesses over the coming year. Los Tres Amigos will be enclosing their outdoor seating area. The Crazy Crab continues towards completing an addition of a new enclosed and open-air patio to their building. The Olive Tree Plaza has completed installing a whole new facade onto their building. The completely new Amico gas station going in at 9 Mile and Farmington Road is not only a welcome addition, but it is also an important improvement to the gateway to our city. Construction of 14 new single-family homes at Liberty Hill on the site of the previous courthouse at 10 Mile and Farmington Road is well underway. This new upscale neighborhood will be a welcome addition to the community. And finally, I want to give a special shout out to Karen Mondora, the director of the Farmington Hills Department of Public Services, for the great help and cooperation she provided to the Economic and Community Development Department on many projects throughout 2021. Public Works Superintendent Chuck Udy and his crews have taken major strides on upgrading and maintaining our public buildings, parks, and infrastructures. Both the front and rear entrances to City Hall have been improved during the past year. I'm confident that most of you will appreciate the ongoing modernization to the restrooms at Shiawassee and Drake Park. Work on them should be completed by May 8th in time for the opening of South Farmington baseball. We are also installing new bleachers at both Shiawassee and Drake Parks, which will be a welcome improvement for our friends, fans, and parents of youth baseball teams and cricket fans. Drake Park has also had significant upgrades to its parking lot and the extension of the sidewalk from Drake Road all the way to the elementary school for improved community access. A new volleyball court has been installed, and a new storm sewer and sewer construction is near completion. On Oakland Street west of Grand River, the water main was replaced last year, the sanitary sewer was repaired and readied for lining. An all-new road surface was installed. The flooding and tree cleanup following the huge July 7th storm was a major undertaking last year. Thanks to a mutual aid agreement, our Public Works Department was helped by crews from the cities of Livonia, Clawson, and Farmington Hills. Our city was also filled with DTE trucks and contractor teams working diligently to repair the downed power lines, remove fallen tree limbs, and get us all back online. I want to extend a personal thanks to the team of volunteers who worked very hard to clean up the mess at Shiawassee Park after the storm. Their work allowed the annual Founders Day color run to start and finish at its usual location. Several hundred runners gathered there just a few days later after this cleanup. It was a fantastic example of friends and neighbors chipping in to save the event. All Public Works employees attended defined entry training, IOSHA training, and aerial platform training. All employees are now certified in aerial platforms, an accomplishment we couldn't have achieved without the cooperation of Farmington Hills. Kate Knight, Executive Director of our Downtown Development Authority, has performed an exceptional job navigating businesses through the COVID upheaval. Our mix of national retailers and mom and pop shops have come through the pandemic largely intact, and is still more important than ever to shop locally and support our small businesses. All those little greenhouses, they're called Farmington Forts, and propane heaters that you've seen on the sidewalks and parking areas of many of our restaurants are just some of the more visible investments the DDA made to support our businesses. As part of the DDA CARES Act, a funding allocation, a restaurant revitalization grant was won to install a new high-efficiency heating system at the Sunquist Pavilion at Riley Park. Visitors and restaurant patrons have been enjoying carryout all winter long while ice skating. The DDA and city have partnered to allocate much-needed grants and resources to businesses in need as our community continues to emerge from the worst of COVID-19. An important indicator of how far we've come these past few years is that there are almost no vacancies in our downtown business district. In fact, market trends show that as big box retails and malls are struggling to sustain, there is tremendous and consistent interest in locating both independent and national brands within walkable downtowns. In 2021, we celebrated the one-year anniversary of the founding of the Syndicate. This is a social district where patrons can purchase alcoholic beverages from participating downtown bars and restaurants to enjoy in designated outdoor areas such as Riley Park. This additional point of revenue lifted participating businesses through the darkest days of the pandemic-driven indoor dining restrictions. The social district continues to pull visitors downtown. It is important to note that there has been no police activity required for issues within the Syndicate. None. This year, we will see the start of the Farmington Road streetscape construction, which is a critical part of our plan for developing the downtown business district. The complete project will be similar to the Grand River design installed more than a decade ago. We anticipate even more private development on Farmington Road as a result of this public investment. The streetscape is the result of a $1 million federal Transportation Alternative Programs grant and co-funded equally by the city and the DDA, in addition to the grant and Oakland County funding I mentioned earlier. We kick off our first public meeting about the Farmington Road streetscape at City Hall on March 15th. We're already seeing the spin-off benefits of the streetscape as numerous businesses are also investing in our future at the same time by expanding their current spaces or adding onto Farmington Road locations. Jill's Genuine Pharmacy has purchased and begun renovation plans on a building most recently occupied by an upscale barbershop. The Apothecary Coffee is developing in the building housing Williams Family Sports Medicine. GLP will finish renovating the storefronts adjacent to their corporate headquarters in the historic Farmington State Savings Bank. Castle Dental Lab is the focus of an MEDC redevelopment-ready technical assistance project and is preparing the property for new ownership after a half century. At one time, this building was home to the Farmington Community Library. The former Page's restaurant is also under a purchase agreement with a group that chose the location based on the streetscape improvements, which include expanded sidewalks and outdoor seating. Downtown Farmington has again been awarded national accreditations as a Main Street Select level community, one of the historic and thriving jewels of Oakland County. A vibrant downtown correlates directly and positively with residential property values. The DDA's public art blueprint is on a 5-year roll, installing projects each season, including this year's bounty, a 700-pound, 6-foot-tall raven sculpture once featured in Art Prize. It was installed as part of the October Grand Raven Festival. That's in addition to the many giant Ken Thompson sculptures at Riley Park. This summer, downtown Farmington will host the Detroit Institute of Art's Inside Out program for the 3rd time, in partnership with our friends in Farmington Hills. Public art represents an important statement about how a community feels about itself. We were proud to welcome the highly respected Dearborn Music business into a key anchor location downtown last year. Dearborn Music has been a record store staple in the Detroit metro area since 1956 and is one of the hottest hubs for music enthusiasts. As the year rolls out, watch for more new business announcements to come from the DDA. There seems to be an endless list of activities throughout the year that are part of who we are as a community. I'm proud to say that our DDA produces a long list of programming 12 months a year. With a goal of attracting residents and visitors to the area, local businesses report immediate and repeat effects from these customers. Through the efforts of the DDA and its Main Street program, a broad strategy for revitalization has been cultivated and implemented. The projects and programs undertaken toward the furtherance of this broad strategy are aimed to ensure that downtown Farmington will remain economically viable well past 2022. Our city-owned Civic Theater, managed by Scott Freeman, who demonstrates a true entrepreneurial spirit and style, is a highly visible landmark for our city. Although still in recovery mode, the trends at the theater are positive. The theater was voted the best movie theater in Metro Detroit in the WDIV contest in 2021. It has claimed the top spot for the past 5 years. Comparing this fiscal year to last, admissions are up 656%, with revenues up 540%. With the new first-run feature model, which replaced the second-run model that characterized the Civic for about 40 years, the average transaction at the concession stand is up 57% compared to COVID shutdown period. The FCT continues its tradition of family-friendly pricing for tickets and concessions. Seniors, children, and matinee, $5.75. General admission is $8.50. As a bonus, visitors can combine a meal before or after the movie in downtown Farmington. We're looking forward to our buskers returning to the out front stage once warmer weather arrives. The incredibly successful Farmington Farmers and Artisans Market, under the direction of the intrepid Walt Gajewski, was voted the best farmers market for the 5th consecutive year in 2021. In July 2021, the state lifted all of its restrictions regarding governance over farmers markets. We fully reopened with a community focus. Here are some of the highlights to consider. Attendance was up 9.8% over 2020. Attendance surpassed 100,000 in total for the first time. The weekly volunteer-led Meet at the Market walkabouts group of about 15 to 24 walkers logged 657 miles while featuring lead guest speakers showcasing local history and community landmarks. Working in partnership with the Greater Farmington Chamber of Commerce, they presented Holidays. One of the highlights which I am most proud of is the market's work with the Farmington Hills youth and families fostering the power of produce. It resulted in a grant award aimed at teaching children where food comes from. The market's 29th year of community service begins this year with the tradition of the opening day celebration on Saturday, May 7th. On that day, the market bell will ring vigorously, sounding the message that of real food, real farms, with a mission and purpose that we're here to keep you healthy. There seems to be an endless list of activities and events throughout the year that are part of who we are as a community. The Riley Park Ice Rink, for example, has sold out the available advertising dashboards to a point where there is a waiting list. Just this past New Year's Eve, there were 2 ball drops, one for younger folks and another for adults. A new commemorative park bench program has been initiated. Donors can purchase a plaque, which will be permanently affixed to a new or refurbished bench starting this spring. Community-wide surveys will be distributed soon to help guide the all-new internet broadband installation program. Rollout of broadband cables will be gradual throughout the neighborhoods over the course of about 2 years. The very popular Farmington Military and Veteran Banner Program will continue this year. There are currently 22 banners sprinkled around the downtown area. Friends and family members who want to honor a veteran can find an application on the Farmington City's website. I want to point out that these banners are installed during the spring and then removed before winter to protect them. The banners are in place for 1 season, removed and given to the family members as a keepsake. I would like to pause here to mark the passing of 4 past mayors of Farmington in 2021. The contributions that they made during their terms on City Council and as very active members of our community keep their memories alive even today. Thank you. Before concluding this presentation, please join me in giving special thanks to our City Manager, Dave Murphy, and his extremely competent Executive Assistant, Melissa Andrade. They have worked tirelessly and professionally to keep Farmington on track in ways that most of us will never even know. They are true assets to our community. As I said at the beginning of my report today, the state of the city of Farmington is good, very good. There's no doubt in my mind that with the continued extraordinary efforts of our employees and the wide range of our volunteers, 2022 will be another successful year for us all. And as your mayor, I want to extend my personal and official thanks to each of you. Thank you to my fellow residents and business owners of Farmington for your patience and cooperation while we continue to work together toward a healthy and secure future.
Good morning. Can we try that again? Good morning. Good morning. Thanks, y'all. Appreciate it. I'm Vaughn Nguyen. I'm the CMO at Schoolcraft College. We're a proud sponsor to be at the State of the Cities today. Our college has truly valued the relationship it has with Greater Farmington Area Chamber of Commerce. And for some of you community members who are not too far from us, we're on from our main campus, 6 or 7 mile on Haggerty. We're in between those mile markers. So whether it be dual enrollment or young high school students or college-bound students, getting gen eds out of the way, but what we're really known for is our culinary. So how many of y'all have had a chance to participate at our American Harvest? I see a little nod. If you're not aware, we do have a world-renowned culinary department. And so if you're hungry, come down and see me and I'll get you into the restaurant. And we have an extensive programming with personal enrichment from yoga to ceramics, all that. So I just want to say that we want to compliment our partners at OCC and what they're doing, and know that we, as educators, are continuously working to serve not only the education needs of this community, but also a wide variety of wellness option and programs. So as we evolve out of this pandemic and into an endemic, hopefully, I feel great anticipation for the ways that we'll continue to innovate, expand our relationship with this community and allow greater access to education and assist our community in a transformational learning to better themselves and their families. So with that, I'd like to introduce the mayor of Farmington Hills, the Honorable Vicki Barnett. She was first elected to City Council in 1995, served as Mayor Pro Tem in 1998, and was elected mayor in 2003, 05, 19, and 2021. She was a state representative from 2009 to 2014. Her past accomplishments include purchasing the Caustic Center, creating model after-school programs, expanding our park system to include a nature preserve, world-class soccer fields, an 18-hole golf course, splash pad, and cultural arts programs. Also forming the Citizen Corps Council for Emergency Preparedness to teach residents how to care for themselves during crises, receiving a Homeland Security grant to install a low power emergency radio station, hosting innovative environmental workshops, championing environmentally sustainable natural landscaping, and our gold LEED certified City Hall. She also had help in new developments to be compatible with surrounding neighborhoods, preventing oil and gas drilling in residential neighborhoods, and assisting county officials building a county-wide public safety communications network. A resident of Farmington Hills since 1981, Vicki and her husband Mark Steckloff have 2 grown children. She received a master's degree in business administration for U of M Dearborn, was president of the Michigan Municipal League, board member of the National League of Cities, vice chair of the National Task Force on Interoperability for Homeland Security, and is involved in so much many more community organizations. Please welcome the Honorable Mayor, Vicki Barnett.
I'm shrinking in my old age. Good morning. It's been a long 2 years, eh? I want to thank the Greater Farmington Area Chamber of Commerce for hosting this wonderful event. And I also want to introduce my council members who are here. Will you please stand? We have, please stand. I know it's hard, I know. We have Mayor Pro Tem Mary Newland, former council member in Farmington, and now a wonderful council member in Farmington Hills, Valerie Knoll. Dr. Ken Massey, former mayor and now city council member. Dr. Randy Bruce, council member who has returned. And unfortunately, Jackie Bolaware and Mike Bridges were unable to attend this morning, but they wish they could be here. And one more special guest that I hope you will all meet after this program is over, the Japanese Consul General Shindo. Thank you. Let me begin by telling you that the state of our city is financially strong and in very capable hands. No one responds more to our residents than our first responders from the police and fire departments. In the November election, voters recognized the importance of this when they passed the charter amendment for the renewal and increase of the city's public safety millage for the next 10-year period starting this July 22. I want to thank our voters and especially want to thank our first responders for all of their hard work. Our dedicated professionals in the Public Safety Communications Center answered over 62,000 calls for service for our city, as well as for Farmington and the city of Franklin. We hired 5 new police officers representing an inclusive and diversified workforce. We also reinstated our police cadet program, where we support and guide new cadets as they start their journey toward becoming full officers. Police Chief King proudly spearheaded the re-accreditation efforts for our police department. Like Farmington, we are in good hands here too. Let me emphasize how important this is. It means that our police department has met and exceeded the standards for the Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police in all aspects of Farmington's policies and procedures, management, operations, and support services. The Farmington Hills Police Department is one of only 8, we have a difference of numbers here, Sarah and I, a difference of only 8 law enforcement agencies in the state to achieve re-accreditation status, and we are certainly the largest police department in Michigan to accomplish this feat. We're very proud of our men and women in blue. Our police officers are dedicated to community policing and making a difference in the lives of everyone who works, lives, or visits our city. Just a few successful outreach programs I'd like to highlight. Faith in Blue, where our officers work with different houses of worship. FHPD Rocks, a scavenger hunt where kids searched for rocks with police motifs in our local parks and then traded them in for safety goodie bags. Toys for Tots, Stuff a Squad Car, Shop with a Hero Day. Our first responders organized donations for needed items for local families so that everyone had a happy holiday season. On a more serious note, our police department created the Quick Response Team to help combat opioid addiction. Our officers take a compassionate approach to assisting individuals who have survived an addiction crisis, and within 72 hours of a non-fatal drug overdose, our teams visit the families, assist with recovery services, and connects the whole family to community resources. We continue to provide police services that are comprehensive, accessible, and transparent without prejudice or partiality. There's even a transparency dashboard on our website now, where citizens can look at the statistics about calls for service, and they're fully accessible to the public. March 20 ushered in an unprecedented period for our EMS teams. COVID-19 deaths began to spike across the city, and our firefighters responded hundreds of times, bringing critical patients to area hospitals. Because of the city's careful planning, we had a ready supply of N95 masks, gloves, and sanitation equipment. Unfortunately, other municipalities were not as lucky. In 2021, fire and EMS departments continued to break records in the number of responses to calls made by residents. Fire Chief Unruh reports that the department had the busiest year in history, with 11,354 incidents, representing a 19.5% increase in volumes of runs since 2018. And the unprecedented storms on July led to the fire department having its busy day in history, with 216 runs within a 24-hour period. Our firefighters also completed over 25,924 hours of training, both in person and virtually, and our newly purchased fire truck number 5 was a well-used addition to our fleet. I'm pleased to report that we had 0 fire-related deaths last year and 0 interventions required by the Youth Fire Setters program, down from 3 last year. We're also very happy that the total dollar loss due to fires is down again from last year. In fact, it's at its lowest point in 9 years. And COVID-related medical runs were down this year from 460 in 2021 to 339. From 460 in 2020 to 339 in 2021. The fire department also presented over 50 public education programs teaching up to 2,400 kids and 2,600 adults despite the COVID challenges. And they installed 145 smoke detectors and 32 carbon monoxide detectors in residents' homes across the city. And I would be remiss if I didn't now stop and give a huge shout out to the nurses and the doctors and the healthcare teams at Beaumont Farmington Hills for their heroic efforts these last 2 years, and to thank all of our frontline workers. Thank you. Since we last met 2 years ago, we've had several new faces join us at City Hall. Gary Mechchen officially became our new city manager in March of 2021 and faced a challenging time during his inaugural year. I think he's doing a great job, and Gary now has the help of our assistant city manager, Joe Valentine, who was hired in May, who came to us with 24 years of experience in municipal operations and management, including 6 years as the city manager in Birmingham. We have another new face at the city manager's office with Tia Brockway, coming from the city of Taylor, joining our team as the new economic development director. And I want to take a moment to thank all of our outstanding employees. They met the challenges of the pandemic and rose to the occasion. We started off in 2021 being closed to the public. We reopened in mid-February, and we remained open for business since that day. During COVID, we learned a lot about Zoom meetings and transitioning many of our services to the internet. We continue to expand ways to serve the public online, and our newly redesigned city website facilitates this. When you get a chance, go to www.fhgov.com and see how much easier it is to navigate the streamlined city website. It's especially useful for your mobile devices now. And this was one of the many ways that we listened and responded to our residents to make the city services more accessible. And we've also stepped up to address several chronic problems across our city. DTE power outages, hello Jennifer, and a growing deer population. After a series of major storms in July, many residents were shocked by the destruction caused by a catastrophic microburst. The storm that devastated neighborhood trees, followed by massive flooding. Then complaints came rolling in about DTE power outages. We responded aggressively, reaching out to the Michigan Public Service Commission, filing a formal complaint, meeting with DTE leaders, and listening to residents. While a reliable electric grid is still a work in progress, I'm happy to report that we are working closely with DTE. Their staff has been very, very open and honest with us, and we've been working very carefully together. In fact, yesterday I was out on a tree trimming tour, and it's amazing what these men and women do with trees. It's so scary. And I'm happy to report that that DTE has committed to improving our electric grid and even upgrading transformers throughout the city. As for our exploding deer population, we are partnering with the DNR and other communities to create a regional deer management program. As the convening leader of this group, we held a well-attended seminar last fall, and our aerial deer count was just recently released. Residents are right. We have a lot of deer, and they're causing a lot of damage, and we need to work toward a solution. Our Public Services Department also had a busy year. While most of us don't like orange barrels, we do like new roads. And in 2021, we completed $12 million worth of local road reconstruction and resurfacing, including projects in Heritage Hills, Wedgewood Commons, Stone Creek, and Westlake subdivisions. 11 Mile Road was resurfaced between Inkster and Middle Belt Road, while also completing the sidewalk on the south side of the road and replacing 2 large storm drains in the project area. We completed 3.6 miles of replacement value of $3.3 million of water mains, and really concentrated on the Richland Garden subdivision, where the water main had been constantly breaking due to its lasting longer than its life history. This summer, as I stated earlier, we were hit with several severe storms, high winds, damaged trees, roads, and culverts. For 8 weeks, our DPW staff worked 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. Fortunately, crews from different communities provided assistance and mutual aid with the cleanup, along with 5 of our current contractors. When all was said and done, we went through the entire city 3 times to pick up debris and to make sure that we could clean up our roads. A huge thank you to our dedicated public services crews. Following the July storms, our roads and mechanic staff put in over 3,000 hours to make sure our residents and businesses were taken care of. In October, a 48-inch diameter Great Lakes Water Authority water main broke, impacting thousands of water customers in the area. Of course, the following 3 months, the break site has been repaired, and the shutdown provided the opportunity for advanced inspection, mitigation, and additional repairs of the 2-mile segment that was affected. The road is being worked on, and we hope to have it fully open soon. Our hardworking public service employees deal with a lot of disasters. In fact, when they were given the Project of the Year award, we were very excited that the Disaster and Emergency Repair category for the Halstead Road and Minnow Pond Drain was recognized by the American Public Works Association's Michigan chapter. And now I want to focus on our award-winning finance department. Our city continues to enjoy a AAA bond rating from Standard & Poor's, the highest rating achievable. This allows us to borrow money at the lowest cost possible, saving our taxpayers thousands of dollars in interest charges. The Government Finance Officers Association, for the 38th year in a row, gave us the Distinguished Budget Presentation Award. In the aftermath of the pandemic, the city will receive $8.9 million in American Rescue Plan Act funding, or ARPA, and by the end of the fiscal year 22-23. And these funds will support the vital work of our frontline public safety COVID responders. In addition, our elected representatives, State Representative Samantha Steckloff and State Senator Jeremy Moss, worked hard to give us $40,000 for an electric vehicle charging stations, $100,000 for much-needed fire department trailer, $200,000 for our police department, and with some additional federal funding coming from Congresswoman Brenda Lawrence, we received a $500,000 appropriation for the world-renowned Holocaust Memorial Center. And it's been a rough year for clerks, but I want you to know that our clerk's office is in great hands and did exceptional work. In addition to running a local election in 2021, the clerk's office saw the city's permanent absentee voter file triple. It went from 9,500 residents to its current level of approximately 29,600 voters. Absentee voter ballots were issued for the presidential election in 2020, and they increased from 60% over the last presidential election, and on average for the last elections, 75% of voters are now voting through absentee ballot versus 25% who are voting at the polls. And thanks to our dedicated volunteers for the committee to increase voter participation, who work closely with our clerk's office, disseminating information on elections and educating our voters. In 2021, the Human Resources Department continued its efforts to promote the Farmington Hills City as an employer of choice. We have begun our DEI journey, which will make this organization even stronger. We've partnered with a diversity, equity, and inclusion consultant who has helped creating a long-term sustainable strategy to accomplish our city's vision of being a bright, inclusive community for residents, businesses, and that's safe, active, and progressive. We want to ensure diverse representation in leaderships and staffing. The city assembled the DEI Advisory Board comprised of key leaders and a DEI Council with employee members. The DEI Council is creating a survey that will help guide us in the organization's resources and practices and policies to support our diversity and inclusion goals. The other efforts we do to take care of our employees and create a safe environment in the Human Resources Department and the Police Department is that we have provided all of our employees with ALICE active shooter training and skills. Sadly, this is needed in these dark times. They also processed 43 full-time hires, 35 regular department hires, and 15 retirements. Even during the pandemic, our planning, community development, and economic development departments were very busy. Our housing rehab program assisted 19 homes with necessary repairs, such as roofs, windows, siding, water heaters, and furnaces. This goes a long way in preserving property values in Farmington Hills, and we are proud of this program. Since March 2021, federal CARES Act funding was made available to address the COVID impacts and assist low and moderate income residents with rent and utility payments. 52 applicants were assisted with the help of greater partner agencies, including CARES of Farmington Hills, and provided food to over 200 Farmington Hills families per month through CARES, YMCA, and Salvation Army food banks. We've also seen some new development. Chasewood Villa, which is going to be developing the old Piedmontese Swim Club property located at 9 Mile, west of Halstead Road. The Emerald Forest, a 44-unit single-family development at 10 Mile and Orchard Lake Road. And a new 250-unit apartment complex with 66 townhomes has been approved at the corner of Northwestern Highway and 14 Mile Road. And the new development will include a dog park, a gym, a pool, and 2 courtyards for its residents. In 2021, there were 29 industrial property transactions, 21 retail property transactions, plus we were able to use economic development tools like the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority financing to help projects, including the Tim Hortons at the corner of 10 and Orchard Lake Road, do massive cleanup of toxic waste at the site. Now I'd like you to take a quick look around you. You're sitting in the cafeteria of Harrison High School. This is the new Hawk, the new jewel in our special services crown. In June of 2021, we opened the Hawk, the Farmington Hills Community Center. It's long been a dream, and we were finally able to accomplish it. This was quite an undertaking, especially during a pandemic. The 245,000 square foot community center and the 42-acre park provides a hub for residents and guests of all ages, interests, and abilities to enjoy drama, music, visual and performing arts, aquatics, athletics, fitness, and wellness, along with many other programs and classes. We now call the award-winning Hawk the award-winning Hawk because it's been winning a lot of awards. It's won the Facility Design Award from MParks, the Michigan Recreation Park Association, and the Special Services Department also won the MParks Park Design Award for the Hills 275 trailhead located along Haggerty Road and 275. This was the first project ever that we did with not only MDOT, but also the U.S. Federal Highway Department. And I want to thank Brian Farmer for his hard work on that project. Despite the pandemic, the Special Services Department thrived and delighted community members with their programming. Let me share some impressive numbers. The department had over 2,300 campers take part in camps during the past summer. We averaged 3,000 monthly pool visitors, sold over 10,000 youth theater tickets, hosted a record-shattering 48,500 rounds of golf at the Farmington Hills Golf Club, and delivered over 110,000 Meals on Wheels to local seniors. And we had more than 100,000 visitors to our splash park. And since we had all this new appreciation for getting outside and the fresh air, our park system had a record number of visitors. The Special Services Department helped our residents stay engaged, get healthy, and have fun. It's important at any time, but it was essential during the pandemic. And in closing, I want to give you a little taste of what's to come. We are emerging from a 2-year-long pandemic. I'm happy to report that we remain financially strong, and we've achieved many things. We are positioned to look proudly toward a bright future. We are development ready and poised for economic growth. We are facing societal issues of diversity, equity, and inclusion with open hearts and minds as we work with our newly hired consultants and create an employee-directed DEI council that will report on progress and give us recommendations for the future. And we are on the cutting edge of new technologies. one of a handful of cities in the nation, and the first in Michigan to create a broadband network with state-of-the-art fiber optic technology. This is a joint project between Farmington and Farmington Hills, and I want to thank Joe LaRussa, Mayor Pro Tem of Farmington, for his hard work on this. This exciting new development puts us on the map in terms of providing unique access to broadband services in the Metro Detroit area. And the best part of all, our citizens are not on the hook for the $150 million cost. That's being provided at no cost to us and built with no taxpayer dollars. We've created an exciting new Innovation, Energy, and Environmental Sustainability Committee that will enhance support for environmental sustainability efforts, smart city initiatives, and innovative programs to benefit the entire community. It's a unique opportunity to explore the potential of public-private partnerships and possible funding sources, and this is another joint committee that we have established with members also from Farmington. In all areas of city services, we continue to listen and respond to our residents as we navigate changing times. We stay up to date on the latest developments, and we strive to provide our constituents with the amenities and quality of life unparalleled in many municipalities. I'm happy to report that according to the 2020 census, we've gained more than 4,200 residents in the past 10 years, and all of this is happening because of our caring, professional leadership and commitment to keep Farmington Hills the best place to live, work, raise a family, and age in place with dignity. We are charting a strong path forward. We are facing our challenges, embracing our diversity, and celebrating our accomplishments. I want to thank you all for being here, and thank you for letting me bore you with some statistics. And I want to thank you all for also doing all that you do to make this such a caring, progressive, and wonderful city. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Steve Greck. I'm the president and CEO of LOC Credit Union. As many of you know, it's based right on Farmington Road here in Farmington. So it's great to be here supporting our hometown communities. We take a lot of pride in that. This event for me is special because the last really in-person event like this that I attended was about a couple weeks after I started at LOC in February of 2020. So I welcomed the pandemic with my tenure as CEO. So this is kind of a rite of passage for me to return to normalcy. So I know we all have our own stories as it relates to the pandemic. That's part of mine. This morning I have the privilege of introducing Dr. Christopher Delgado, who serves as Superintendent of Farmington Public Schools in Michigan, which serves approximately 9,000 students pre-K to age 26 in the Metro Detroit area. After graduating from Michigan State University, he began his career as a high school and middle school Spanish teacher in Colorado Springs, Colorado. 6 years later, he returned to Michigan as an elementary and high school Spanish teacher in Birmingham. His teaching tenure was followed by 18 years in administration, including roles as high school associate principal, middle school principal, and deputy superintendent. He completed his bachelor's and master's of educational administration from Michigan State University and his educational specialist and doctorate from Oakland University. Chris is married for 28 years to his wife Leslie, who is a fourth grade teacher in Birmingham Public Schools. Chris and Leslie have 3 children: Antonio, a graduate of Michigan State; Cassandra, a graduate of New York University; and Dominic, a student at the Baker College Culinary Institute of Michigan. Also, on a side note, beyond Chris's bio, I would like to mention that Chris is a strong supporter of LOC's long-standing student-run credit union program and financial literacy programs. That program has been around for 25 years. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce Dr. Christopher Delgado.
Well, good morning, everyone, and thanks, Steve. On behalf of the over 9,000 students and more than 1,500 employees of the school district, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to be here with you this morning, and it's just incredible to be here in person. Oh, let me start the PowerPoint. Thank you. I am Chris Salgado, your proud superintendent of your Farmington Public Schools. Before I begin, I'd like to acknowledge members of your Board of Education who are able to join us this morning. We have with us our president, Ms. Terry Weems. We have our vice president, Mr. Zach Rich. We have our secretary, Ms. Angie Smith. And from our cabinet, our wonderful, known by many of you, probably all of you, our wonderful Director of School Community Relations, Ms. Diane Beaumont. The state of our schools, in a word, is energized. For the past 8 months, we've been working hard as a board, a cabinet, a leadership team, and a staff to align our efforts to one goal: providing the best, high-quality teaching and learning experience for all children. There is an energy and an enthusiasm and excitement in the schools that's palpable when you walk the hallways. Despite continuing challenges this year with the pandemic, staff morale is high and children are happy to be back in school together. I joined the school district July 1st, after 10 years serving as the deputy superintendent in Walled Lake Schools, with 8 years prior as a building principal and associate principal in Bloomfield Hills. I got to work right away by planning a Board of Education retreat. We focused on building relationships and trust with each other, as well as collectively defining and committing to both board and district goals. If you've watched any of our board meetings, you will have heard President Weems start the meeting with referencing and reviewing the board goals, which include the 4 areas of Board of Education development, exploring innovation, executing on vision and strategic planning, and community engagement. They continue to successfully meet all the goal areas each month and are proud to celebrate the significant accomplishment of becoming a certified board in the state of Michigan. This required each member to complete a series of courses voluntarily through the Michigan Association of School Boards. And I cannot underestimate the importance of this accomplishment because it shows a true commitment of each board member to not only their personal growth and leadership development, but respect for each other, because they understand that through professional development and they can become a stronger board. So the state of your Board of Education, our guiding example, is healthy. They are collaborative, productive, and unified. They have coalesced behind me and my cabinet and leadership team to support our work on behalf of children and families. So I want to publicly thank our Board of Education for their commitment to children. Instructionally, the state of our schools is rigorous and intentional. Under the guidance of Dr. Kelly Coffin and Ms. Margaret Hendrickson in our instructional department, over the last 2 years, classroom-level instructional analysis is happening, and discussion with administrators and teachers on best instructional practices is occurring daily. 2 practices we are focusing on this year include instructional walkthroughs, visiting every single classroom in the district. That was one of my goals in my 90-day plan, is to have our entire cabinet visit every classroom, and we accomplished that goal. And the second focus area in our instructional analysis is a deep analysis of our performance data, not only on standardized test scores, but also on internal common assessments across grade levels and subject areas. Our vision and our expectation for our staff is to offer a guaranteed and viable curriculum and an experience to every single student in FPS at every school, regardless of background. An educational experience that is tailored to the needs of both those learners needing extra help and support, as well as those who have prior knowledge of a concept and need more in-depth challenge. In EduSpeak, we call that differentiation, and our teachers know very well how to accomplish that. As part of this learning, we have a long history and a deep commitment to career-focused and technical education through our business partnerships, apprenticeships, and internships for students. Farmington Public Schools is a leader in the county and the state with students taking CTE courses, including but not limited to programming, web design, co-op, marketing, computer science, and a variety of engineering offerings. And of course, you've seen our wonderful Hackbots robotic program. We are also one of the only certified districts within the International Baccalaureate program with both a very intense and demanding DP diploma program, as well as CP career-based program. Those two programs are independent within the International Baccalaureate organization, and rarely do you see a school district that has both for students. These curricula are incredibly challenging, very difficult, very rigorous, and most importantly, available to every single student. These efforts align perfectly with our focus on equity and equity and inclusion work this year, as well as diversity. Our diverse student needs are considered, and student voice is incorporated into our curricular choices and reflected in the materials we have. That student voice is also reflected in our instructional practices and the way we position students and the way we interact with students to help them feel welcome and accepted within the classroom, thus thriving academically based on those relationships. We have a beautifully diverse student body and community, as you well know. I too am a community member, and we celebrate that uniquely special aspect of the diversity in Farmington and Farmington Hills. With respect to community connections, the state of our schools is, in a word, robust. When I joined FBS, I made the rookie mistake of sharing my calendar with my right-hand sidekick here, Diane Bauman, and I told Diane, hey, fill me up with meetings in July before the kids come back with as many community members as you can. And my list was long, but hers was longer, so that led to 5 and 6 meetings a day, and I met with many of you in this room. We are so proud of our vast and long-standing relationship with so many community partners, from local businesses to financial, philanthropic, governmental, health, and faith-based organizations, many of whom are in this room. There are too many to name without omitting someone, so I will simply say thank you all for your partnership and for your support of the Farmington Public Schools. However, there is one group that I would like to raise up that deserves special thanks, and they're getting a lot of love today, as they should, and that's our law enforcement partners. On the heels of the horrific tragedy in Oxford, they worked tirelessly, days and nights, to assess the credibility of various copycat threats that threatened to close and did close down our schools and many schools around the county. In addition to our 3 full-time resource officers, the entire police departments of Farmington and Farmington Hills were always available on a moment's notice. I want to publicly thank Chief King and Public Safety Director Ted Wortham for their incredible leadership. Unprecedented times dealing with a school shooting so close to home. And that very challenging time was extended throughout the school year as they continued to support us with immediate action on any potential threat. So I want to thank them publicly and ask for a round of applause. And last but certainly not least, physically, the state of your schools, to use an industry term, is in good repair. Thanks to you, our voters and our taxpayers, the 2020 infrastructure bond work is well underway. And despite supply chain delays, we're still actually ahead of schedule and on budget. These incredibly necessary upgrades on HVAC systems, including boilers that are over 50 years old, roofing, windows, lighting, parking lots, surveillance cameras, technology and electrical work, they're occurring school by school by school on an efficient and highly organized schedule. By the end of 2026, the entire district will be transformed into state-of-the-art buildings, thanks to you, that offer both the reliability, the safety, and efficiency these upgrades bring, but also new instructional areas for flexible and innovative learning and classroom design. So in closing, I'd like to share a process that I brought to the district this summer for our leadership team that has served us well and will help you better understand how we approach our work each day. I mentioned that when I got here in July, the first order of business was to have a Board of Education retreat, which we accomplished. Very quickly after that session, I held another retreat with my cabinet. In addition to team building and getting to know each other and instructional visioning for the school year, the 7 of us created a theme for yet another midsummer retreat in August with the entire 60-member leadership team. The leadership team consists of principals, assistant principals, supervisors, directors, all the decision makers in the district. The theme we chose as a cabinet was railroad-based, with the image of a train heading down the tracks and the slogan, "All aboard, on track for FPS success." So, if you all hop on the train with me for a moment, I'll share the analogy. A train in the station is idle, but full of untapped energy. Whether by coal, steam, or electricity, it wants to move forward. After ensuring that all the right people are on the train and committed to taking a journey together, the train slowly begins to creep forward. Envision the huge wheel sets. That's what they call them. We learned a lot of railroad lingo this year. But the wheel sets are the 2 big wheels connected with an axle. And in addition to the lingo, Diane also bought me a black and yellow conductor's hat with a choo-choo whistle that she made me wear at the leadership team retreat. I did not bring that today. So envision these huge wheel sets. Imagine them barely circling clockwise at first, but gaining speed with each rotation. Eventually, the steam pipe blows and the massive, seemingly immovable object moves forward. As it gains momentum, it moves swiftly down the track, always forward, around curves and bends, up hills and even mountains. But then it descends into smoother, open plains with beautiful views. The destination may or may not be entirely known to all the passengers, but they recognize that they made a choice to get on the train, and thus are all moving forward together in the same direction, toward a desired location. You see, when you're on a train, you can certainly see what's behind you. You can see where you came from, and you can even identify remnants of the past along the tracks. And sometimes those remnants are broken or tattered or strewn about. But you cannot, on a train, go backwards. You must go forward. You're pulled forward by the force and the power of a collective energy that, once at full speed, is difficult to stop. Eventually, and it may take some time, the past disappears, and the passengers can only see what lies ahead. They are prudent to look ahead for obstacles that could derail them, or maybe seek to derail them, and to stay ever vigilant against unanticipated or unforeseen impediments to their progress. So each month we bring this analogy back to our leadership team, to the leaders of our district, who go back to their buildings and talk with their teachers and talk with their students about moving forward and not relying on the past. The future is bright in Farmington Public Schools. I appreciate your partnership, your support, and your time this morning. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Dirk Beamer from Wright Beamer, and on behalf of all of my colleagues, I want to thank all of you for your attendance and support at this very important community event. We as a firm recently celebrated our 30th year anniversary. Thank you. Thank you. All 30 of those years proudly here in Farmington Hills. And I can say, as a Farmington resident and a Farmington Hills business owner, I am extremely proud of and grateful for this community. I am also grateful for the opportunity to introduce an important community leader this morning, and that is Dr. Jennifer Byrne. Dr. Byrne is the provost of Oakland Community College. She grew up in Oakland County, and she resides here in Farmington Hills. Byrne began her career in higher education as an OCC faculty member before assuming the position of department chair of the English department at the college's Orchard Ridge campus. She went on to hold research and teaching positions at Oakland University, National Louis University, as well as administrative roles at Northern Illinois University, Harper College, and Berkshire Community College. Dr. Byrne completed her PhD in teacher education at Michigan State University, earned a master's degree in English literature and composition theory from Northeastern University in Boston, and holds a bachelor's degree in English language and literature from the University of Michigan. She has authored or co-authored 5 books, as well as contributed to a number of articles, presentations, and funded research grants on topics including faculty professional development, developmental education, and assessment. Byrne's work in leadership led to her being named an Aspen Presidential Fellow, an opportunity afforded 40 community college professionals across the nation who have been tapped for preparation as transformative community college leaders. You'll notice from that impressive resume that Dr. Byrne has spent a lot of time living, teaching, working across the country. When she was called back to Oakland County and to the college, she had the choice of many lovely, fine communities throughout Oakland County, but she chose one to call home, and that is Farmington Hills. And if you are meeting her this morning for the first time like me, I know you're going to enjoy very much what she has to share. For me personally, as a former English major and University of Michigan alum, I am very proud to introduce to you Dr. Jennifer Byrne.
Good morning. What an honor this is. I've been away from Oakland County for 20 years, and I couldn't be prouder to be back. This is a wonderful opportunity to speak with you. I'm the provost of Oakland Community College, and when I meet people at cocktail parties, I tell them what I do. They always look at me strange because nobody is quite sure what that is. But a provost is the chief academic officer. I'm responsible for teaching and learning at Oakland Community College, including, of course, at our Farmington Hills campus in Orchard Ridge. I first want to recognize the superintendent and my other colleagues in education today for the work that has been done in the last 2 years, which has been extraordinary. If you can imagine that teachers have worked in a certain way for 100 years, hundreds of years, and then in a week, we're asked to move to a completely different modality of teaching. It was extraordinary. And what is also extraordinary is the way it will shape our teaching and learning moving forward. The opportunity and demands of teaching remotely for early childhood educators, K through 12 educators, and higher educators will continue to shape what they do in the future. In 2019, Oakland Community College had 5% of their courses online to meet the needs of students. Right now, we have nearly 40%, and that's a treasure. We have students who are in need of face-to-face education. We're happy to give that to them in Farmington Hills and other places. And we are able to work with students who cannot make it to our campuses, and that's really a gift. Community colleges are special because they educate in the community for the community. So University of Michigan and Michigan State and all of our other esteemed university partners are fantastic and wonderful, and we send our students there happily, but they are not committed to their communities in the way that we are. When we prepare early childhood educators, we do so for our neighbors. When we prepare nurses, we do so for Beaumont hospitals. When we prepare firefighters, they protect your homes. And so we take teaching and learning extremely seriously, and we feel responsible, I feel responsible to the folks in this room and the folks beyond. So thank you so much for letting me tell you a little bit about what's happening at Oakland Community College. So we had last year a commencement that was unlike any commencement ever seen. True to our roots in the Motor City, we had a car commencement. It started at the Orchard Lake Road entrance of OCC, where students decorated their cars with balloons and signs, packed up their parents, their children, their pets, and their partners, and drove from our Orchard Lake entrance to our Farmington Road entrance with joy throughout, with music, with people cheering, and it was quite an event and honored the metaphor of starting your educational journey one place and ending it in another. This year we'll do a more traditional commencement, but I don't think any of us will ever forget, and this was taken on that day. So we are the college of choice in Oakland County, and particularly want to talk about Farmington Hills Public Schools, where we are the number one institution. Michigan State is number 2. So more Farmington Public School students come to OCC as an Institute of Higher Ed than any other, and we love them. Our Farmington Public School partners send us graduates. They also send us dual credit students, and we want to partner with them in all sorts of ways. I'm so honored to meet you today. We love our K through 12 partners, and we want to educate our 18-year-olds, but we are also committed to the adult population in Oakland County. Please tell your friends and neighbors that Oakland Community College offers free tuition for anybody without a college degree who is 25 years or over through the Michigan Reconnect program. People don't know that, and they think we're kidding, but we're actually not, and there are not strings attached. Any person who does not have a college degree can gain an associate's degree or certificate at Oakland Community College, 25 or over, for free. We thank our partners at the Michigan Department of Education and all of you for getting the word out. It's a value and will help us tremendously as we do our part in the Oakland County initiative to have 80% of our residents have a degree or certificate by 2030. We talked a lot about first responders today. We educate the first responders of Oakland County. If you've had trouble and needed them, if you've called 911, chances are an Oakland Community College graduate worked with you. We're very proud of our training center in Auburn Hills, and at the Police Academy graduations, it's amazing how many are going back into our own communities, including Farmington Hills. We're very proud to be connected to the men and women who are keeping us safe. We're also there to keep you healthy. Oakland Community College educates the most associate degree nurses of any college in Michigan, and we send them to Beaumont. And we send them everywhere. If you've been cared for at one of our hospitals or one of our doctor's offices, you have been cared for by an Oakland Community College trained nurse, respiratory therapist, medical assistant, dental hygienist. So please, as you talk to them in your healthcare needs, ask them about their experience at Oakland Community College and allow them to tell them about the work that we are doing. Just so you know, at our Highland Lakes campus, we are offering free dental cleanings for your children. If you call a number, we have 2 dates left. We will allow our advanced dental hygiene students under the supervision of their wonderful professors to clean your children's teeth. And we have to practice, so please send them along. We do a lot with degrees and certificates. We also have a large number of opportunities for businesses to send employees to us for short and long-term training. We will work with you. We will design online or face-to-face or hybrid opportunities, and we can do so in many, many different places. We have a funding from the Michigan New Jobs Training Network to help employers who have hired new people train those new people at no cost, and we are very eager to work with you. Please reach out and contact us if you have any training needs. We are ready. I hope you've seen our new beautiful monument. Off of 696 on our Orchard Ridge campus, we welcome the cars, and I believe that you can see us in a new way, in a new light. We also have the first, at our Orchard Ridge campus on the Orchard Lake entrance, our first new fancy smart sign that tells you what is going on. If you're driving, please only look at it briefly. If you're a passenger, please study it, because it will allow you the opportunity to know the culinary events that you can attend and also become students at, as well as registration information about community events. We're very eager to welcome you to our campus. It is so wonderful to be able to see live theater again. Many of us missed that. We had many productions actually scheduled that we sadly had to cancel for safety reasons. But I am here to tell you that our first live performance in 2 years will be March 17th and 18th, March 24th and 25th at the Orchard Ridge campus under the direction of our new theater faculty, Professor Jennifer Little, and it will be 12 Angry Men. It's unbelievably reasonably priced, and our students are willing to, are eager to perform for you, and we're eager to gather as a community. Please consider attending one of the performances, and I'll see you there. Like our friends in Farmington and Farmington Hills, we also are working with the DIA on the Inside Out project, and we are very proud to do so. We also work with the DIA in other ways. They work with our faculty on inclusive practices with visual literacy, and we love our interaction with them. We have an enormous arts program, mostly at our Royal Oak campus, but also some at our Orchard Ridge, and we want our students to interact with art in many different ways. I think one of the speakers said it really shows how you feel about your community, and we believe that about our college as well. We are growing in many ways. We are investing in our early childhood education programs, our mental health programs, our public safety, our health, our advanced manufacturing, and our liberal arts. We are investing in those programs with new faculty, with new technology, and with new buildings. This is a picture of a ribbon cutting at our Auburn Hills campus, where we have a new, lovely, beautiful, state-of-the-art science and technology building. Many of the students from Farmington Hills who are interested in advanced manufacturing take their technology classes at Auburn Hills and then come back to their community and take their Spanish and English and history classes at the Orchard Ridge campus. We have a lot of mobility between and among our campuses, and we invite you to Auburn Hills to see what we've built, and we're building other things, so more to come on that. I hope I've tantalized you. So I want to recognize my colleagues who are here today. I want to recognize 2 members of our board, Susan Gibson and our board chair, Pam Jackson, who are our guiding lights and help us be fiscally responsible and a part of the community in a way that we couldn't do without them. So I want to thank them and publicly recognize them for their great leadership. We also have members of our Orchard Ridge leadership. We have Jay Seawald, who is the Director of Facilities, who keeps everything beautiful. If you've not been on our Orchard Ridge campus, it's like a park. It's absolutely lovely, and thank you, Jay, for all you do. We also have Robert Spann, who is our Dean of Student Services, who helps keep our students safe and beautiful, and works with them in very wonderful ways. Jonna Volk is a librarian at our Auburn Hills campus and a part of our community, and we're very happy to see her here. We also have Eunice Jeffries, who is our community partner and government coordinator, or something fancy like that. And Dan Genuine from the foundation joining us today. So on behalf of Oakland Community College, again, thank you so much for allowing us to be part of your community as you are part of ours. And I wish you a wonderful day. Thank you.
All right, before we get into any Q&A session, I need to acknowledge also, how many of you were able to clue into the slides that were streaming before we started today? All the fun facts, all of the history lesson that was up there, all of the questionable images about prom that were there, just teasing. I need to thank both Kevin Christensen and Ken Massey for spending a lot of time helping me to build that presentation for you with a ton of just really fun facts about Farmington and Farmington Hills. So thank you very much for that. All right, I'd like to thank you very much for coming here. I don't know, I started my presentation off by talking about how much energy I felt and how I could feel it under my feet, and that it was just this pulsating positive optimism that's going on. I don't know about you guys, but I feel that way even more after listening to all of these presentations and how exciting things are between both cities and our education systems. So thank you very much. Let's go out and make something positive happen this year, and I'll see you next year.